Hello, dear ones. Today I came outside because I have a super awesome story to tell you. But before I read you the story, I wonder, you know why I'm here? Because this is our kindness garden. The kids who come on Sundays planted this garden, and now we are always sharing it on Sundays. So we have lettuce, we have basil, we have all sorts of good stuff to eat. Look at those tomatoes growing. Do you guys like to eat vegetables? What's your favorite? Now one of my favorites are tomatoes. Look at this one. It's a very cool one, isn't it? It's kind of purple, not really dark. It's absolutely delicious. No wonder, actually, tomatoes are technically not a vegetable but fruit, right? Maybe you also like those are peas. Let me see if I can take that. Do you like to eat one of those? Delicious. Is there a vegetable you like to eat? I'd love to hear about it. But all those beautiful things are also a gift from God. And the story I'm going to read to you today, it's about this guy called Daniel and the choices he made. Are you curious to hear it? Well, then let me get the Bible and read it to you. The story I have to tell you today is about a guy named Daniel. So Daniel didn't really want to do what somebody told him. And I will read you this Bible story. Now, I'm wondering, why do you think Daniel wouldn't do what a certain king told him to do? You know why? I can spoil it for you. Because Daniel was very faithful to God and said, I only listen to God. I'm not going to follow whatever a king tells me to do. But yet, my king is my God. So that's the one I listen to. Have you been listening to God? What kind of messages are you getting? Any ideas? Okay, are you ready? Here's the story. And the story today, I'm going to read to you from the Bible, from Celebrate Wonder Bible story. And it's in the book of Daniel. Daniel 1, verses 1 to 21. And it's called Daniel Chooses. The king of Babylon, which he had a funny name. His name was Nebuchadnezzar. So the king of Babylon was a powerful king. He became ruler over God's people. He made many of God's people move to Babylon, a country far away from their homes. He also chose many young men, including Daniel and his 3 friends, to live in his palace. Many of the young men were happy to live in the palace and eat the king's food. But Daniel and his friends knew the king's food was not the kind of food that God wanted them to eat. So Daniel talked to the guard of the men and said, "We cannot eat the king's food. Let me and my friends eat only vegetables for 10 days. Then you can see if we are as healthy as everyone else." Daniel and his friends were allowed to eat only vegetables, while the other young men ate the king's food. When the 10 days were up, Daniel and his friends were the healthiest of the young men. God gave wisdom and knowledge to Daniel and his friends. So in our story today, Daniel was given a choice. He had to either choose to eat the king's food, the food that the king wanted him to eat, or the food he decided that he ate, which was God's food. And that included a very healthy diet that included vegetables and water. So for 10 days, he said, all I want to eat are vegetables and drink water. And that's what he did. And at the end, guess what? They found out that Daniel and his friends were indeed much healthier and had much more energy than the other people who chose to eat all the king's food, which were a lot of meat and alcohol and what have you. Have you ever encountered a hard choice to make? Like something you knew that was good for you, between something that was good for you and something that was bad? I bet you did, right? We all do. But we all know for now that eating our vegetables, eating our fruit is really good for us. And drinking a lot of water is very good. So Daniel was very smart and he made the right choice because he knew that was what God wanted him to do. So this week, I suggest you think about, be very mindful about what you are eating and drinking. Make smart choices, and maybe if you have a chance, you can plant anything, even if it's a little vegetable or anything that you can nurture and see grow. See, I'm in my office and we have a lot of plants. I have a bunch of plants here and I love to see them grow. But maybe you can do that at home. You don't have to perhaps do a big garden like I showed you outside, but you can have a little small pot and put it in front of a window, or if you have a space outside, plant and see what happens. You can even every day say, give it a blessing, say, God is watching you. And I bet it's gonna grow with a lot of love. And don't forget to water it. I wish you an amazing week and stay tuned because I have more from Daniel to tell you. Until next time, see ya. I invite you to pray with me. Dear loving God, we thank you so much for everything we get, for the generosity, for the beauty of nature, for good food that nourishes our bodies, and for the presence we see in every place we are, the presence of God in everything. And for that, we are very thankful and appreciative. Amen.